This is all you need, essentially, in order to use your portable wood stove in your home or in your garage. The worst has happened in the dead of winter. The power has went out and the heat has stopped coming through the vents. Having a fireplace or a permanent wood stove installation is ideal, but not a practical solution for everybody. And while propane and kerosene space heaters are convenient, fuel will eventually run out. Unfortunately, some people don't have the space or the resources to incorporate an alternative heating system into their home. There is a solution, however, that's cheap and effective. And while it may not be as good as a professionally installed wood stove in an emergency, it will keep you alive. Today on the channel, we are going to show you a simple way to use a wood stove in your home in case of emergency. All right, guys, if you don't have a nice big German Shepherd to keep you warm, you're gonna need a way to keep warm. Now, we've talked about all kinds of options on the channel which rely on these condensed types of fuel like propane, kerosene, diesel. Here we have a diesel/kerosene heater. Those are usually the most efficient and the most convenient methods of doing so. However, firewood is simply unbeatable because it's non-volatile, and where I live anyways, and maybe where you live as well, it's in great abundance. That's why you absolutely need to get yourself a Silky Saw, because if you're going to be relying on firewood, after the shizzy hits the fizzy, you're gonna need a way to cut down trees. Everyone in Canada should have a cord of wood in their backyard. It's gonna last for years. You're always gonna be able to burn it. It's very easy to store. The way we're gonna show you today, you can actually get a lot of BTUs out of one log if you use it properly, okay? So let's go check out the wood stove. All right, so there are plenty of different wood stoves on the market. You can do this with any type of wood stove that is available. Right now, I have a Winterwell wood stove. This is the wood stove that I have. I've had Nikos, I've had various Seek Outside stoves, titanium stoves. Most of my stoves have been portable, built for portability. And because this is not meant to be a permanent installation, I would almost prefer to use a stove which was portable, because I could pack it up, and this one, the legs fold in, I can put it up in the garage on the shelf, not have to worry about it in the off season. But if in a pinch I needed to heat a space like this, because this is a very well insulated garage, and because this is not a tent, this will do just fine for heating this entire space, because I got insulation, I got layers of plywood, then drywall. This is a very well insulated space. Your space may require a slightly bigger stove in order to keep warm. When you're buying a wood stove, just be sure to factor in how much BTUs are you going to need to heat your space, and how well insulated is that space. Something like this is not going to be able to heat your entire home. So you're going to want a designated, cordoned off part of your home to be a heat room in case of emergency. Ideally, it would be a room which was an offshoot of a house, like a back room or veranda, just for ventilation purposes. You're going to want to put a base layer on the ground here. It really could be anything, just a thin sheet of wood, something just to keep this off the ground, because these legs might get a little bit hot, not nearly hot enough to melt the floor. So all we're going to do today, this is extremely simple. All we're gonna do is we're just gonna be making this right here. So this is all you need, essentially, in order to use your wood stove, your portable wood stove, in your home or in your garage. Again, safety first. Make sure you check the laws of your local municipality, regulations, all that stuff. I don't want to hear about people burning down their homes because Canadian Prepper said so. Please, my friends, this is for emergency use only. You just need a board, maybe some sheet metal. There's plenty of ways to do this. This is probably one of the easiest ways. building shit. Feel the heat coming off this thing, so you want that heat. So the more pipe you have inside, the better. I can't wait to text this to your mom.
Stop it.
Here we got some HVAC conduit. Now, a lot of people are going to say, hey, you can't be burning that stuff or heating it to a high temperature. And you are correct. All this is going to do is hold the stovepipe in place. So this is actually going to be making very limited contact with the actual stovepipe itself. Maybe certain parts of it will make direct contact, but it's largely going to be going out of the house anyways. This is one way you can do it, or you can just do it like this, have a hole, and your stovepipe is going to go through there. We don't want this stovepipe connecting with the wood, because this will get very hot. It will get so hot that it likely will burn the wood just a little bit. This just needs to be strong enough that it can kind of rest on there, which is, it's more than good enough. So ideally what this would look like then, see how we have that one there? We would have another one of these, but pointing up. So this would look kind of like that, right? But this of course would be outside. Does that make sense, camera guy? Yep, okay. If you haven't seen our video on fire safety, make sure that if you're doing anything like this, that you always have a way to extinguish a fire. The best way to do that is with a tried and true fire extinguisher. Honestly, I would get one bigger than this. This is just the smaller one that we have currently that's handy, that's not mounted on a wall. But fire extinguishers are something every single prepper absolutely needs to have, especially if you're talking about heating your home with combustibles. All right, guys, one of the best fire starters on earth, the ultimate fire tinder, okay? I know the guy in Quebec who makes this stuff, and he sent me a whole box. But you can get some at CanadianPreparedness.com. This is the best fire starter. You only need just a teeny weeny little pinch just like that just to get started. But because this is an all-American fire, we're just going balls to the walls. We're gonna throw some birch bark on top of that. Look at that. Look how fast that fire went up. Just like that, rat-tat-tat-tat. Now, I guess the question is gonna be, where can you do something like this? You cannot do this unless it's in accordance with your laws, okay? I just wanna make that clear. But, big but, if the end of the world happens and there is no government, and you find yourself in an apartment building, say, and all you have is your portable wood stove that you use for camping, maybe, just maybe, something like this might theoretically work, but don't do it because it's illegal and you might burn down the entire complex and other people will die needlessly. So all I'm saying is, if you have some sort of pact with your neighbors, or you're the only one left in the apartment because you were the dumb one who didn't bug out when you had a chance, then in that case, maybe you could do something like this. Okay, just the one rare instance. Now, the more pipe, the better, because you see this chimney here? This is gonna be giving off a lot of heat. This is gonna be giving off the gist of the heat. Ideally, you would want a cast iron stove. But if you're gonna go to that extent, you might as well get a permanent installation. With this, it's stainless steel. It's slightly thicker. I'm not sure of the exact gauge. It's gonna throw off some good heat, okay? And now you absolutely wanna make sure that you have a carbon monoxide detector in here. Chances are, you know, you're not gonna have to worry about that because it's taking in oxygen. If the fire is going out, that means there's not enough oxygen here, there's carbon monoxide, and you're probably gonna die soon. That is very unlikely. All you have to do is make sure you have some ventilation in the space. That means that you're gonna lose some of your heat, but the idea is you're going to gain more heat, gain more BTUs than you're gonna lose through ventilation. Something like this window here, I'm gonna lose a lot of heat through that window. So you might want to insulate the window or just around the window just so you're not losing any of your heat that way. I have really good garage doors that are very well insulated. We have so many layers. The R value in here is really high. That might not be the case in your garage. You may just have, you know, a shell. You may not have no drywall or other things to hold the heat in. Maybe you don't even have insulation in there yet. Something like this will help, okay? But if you get some thermal liner, some spray foam insulation, whatever you can do to insulate your space before bad things happen, okay? That's the idea here. Another thing you're going to want to consider is some kind of fan to blow the heat around. And that, of course, you would power with a lithium generator, or you could just power it with human power. The kids are bored, give them a few Chinese hand fans and put them to work. One of the great things with these winter well stoves, you can get pipe ovens that sit on this pipe. Very easy peasy. It's not gonna mess with your setup here. You need BTUs for heating, cooking, and providing illumination. This provides radiant illumination out the sides because you have those clear windows. It provides heat and it provides a means to cook your food. This is still rather low profile. It's a lot quieter than a generator. Mind you, you're not going to be running a generator to run a space heater. It's absolutely the most inefficient thing. Do not use solar power to heat your home using a space heater. It's the biggest waste of time. It's not going to last that long. You're going to get maybe 2 or 3 hours at best out of even the biggest generator that the market has to offer. Do not do it. If you want to talk about solar heating, go watch the video we did with Dean over at Arcopia. He'll show you how you can practically heat your home in the winter using just your windows if they're pointed in the right direction on sunny days. You pair your passive solar greenhouse with your wood stove and you probably won't end up like a popsicle after the shizzy pops off. So let me know if you guys have any ideas in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Canadian Prepper out.
The best way to support this channel is to support yourself by gearing up at CanadianPreparedness.com, where you'll find high-quality survival gear at the best prices, no junk, and no gimmicks. Use discount code PREPPINGGEAR for 10% off. Don't forget, the strong survive, but the prepared thrive. Stay safe.